Hi guys, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to recommend some books to you and they are by Black writers. And some of these books I've read, some of them I haven't, a couple of them I am currently reading and they're very good. So without much further ado, let's get into it. So the first book I read recently and I absolutely adored this. This was just beautiful, absolutely stunning. It's The Black Flamingo by Atta. This tells the story of Mikey, who is a young black gay man living in London. He goes off to university, finds himself and becomes the Black Flamingo. He's basically a drag artist and it's amazing. It's told in like verse, like poetry, and it's just beautiful. Absolutely stunning, and you have to read it. It's great. The next book is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. This is the first instalment of 7 parts of Maya Angelou's autobiography, and this charts her early life and her dealings with racial inequality and poverty in her childhood. I read this a couple of years ago and it's stuck with me pretty much ever since. Beautifully written, and it's quite hard-hitting, I feel. So yeah, give it a go. Read it. It's very, very good. The next one I'm currently reading, and it's part 2 of Maya Angelou's 7-part autobiography, and it's Gathered Together in My Name. This charts a period in her life where she is now a mother. She's gone off to live in the big city, and how she finds work, makes money, and gets into some quite shocking situations. And this is really good. I'm just under halfway through and it's amazing. And this edition is great as well. It's one of the Virago, I think it's Virago Classics, I'm not sure. It's a Virago edition anyway from the 1980s and it's just amazing. Maya Angelou's writing is beautiful. The third book is another book that I read just recently and I adored this one as well. It is Another Brooklyn by Jacqueline Woodson. This tells the story of 4 young girls who are friends and they live in Brooklyn, New York. And it charts their lives from when they meet as teenagers to right until they are grown adults, and the different directions that their lives take. This was lovely. This is also written in like sort of not verse, but it's very poetic and it's written in sort of short little paragraphs, and I cannot for the life of me remember what that style of writing is called. If I remember, I'll pop it in somewhere at the bottom of the screen. But yeah, if you get a chance to read this, this is amazing. So the next one is a collection of poetry, and it's by Atta, who wrote The Black Flamingo, and it is called I Am Nobody's Nigger. This is basically a collection of poetry. It's, from what I gather, I haven't read this, from what I gather, it is semi-autobiographical about Atta's life from his younger years to pretty much when it was published, clearly. I shall read you the back of this. Revolutionary, reflective and romantic, I Am Nobody's Nigger is the powerful debut collection by one of the UK's finest emerging poets. From riots to one-night stands, Atta shares his perspective on race, sexuality and London life. So yeah, this is on my TBR and I will get to this month in June because I loved The Black Flamingo and I've heard really quite good things about this. So yeah, that's that one. The next one is a book that I am currently listening to on audiobook. I am loving it. It's so insightful. It is so educational. And I didn't realise until I got the physical copy of this that there is a BBC series on television that sort of is based around, or the book is based on, whichever came first, chicken and egg. So it's Black and British, A Forgotten History by David Olusoga. I have the series set to record because at the time of recording it starts tonight, which is Tuesday. Tuesday the 16th of June. And is it the 16th today? We're still in lockdown. I don't know where I am. I don't even know who I am, let alone where I am, what day it is, what time it is even. But yeah, this I'm just under halfway through listening to this, and it's really really insightful, really educational. And also this edition, when I bought this online, it is signed. It doesn't look like it's ever been read, so it's signed by the author, but it was dedicated to someone called Flynn. And clearly Flynn didn't even have any interest in reading it. Shame on you, Flynn. So the next one is another collection of poetry. This is an African elegy by Ben Okri. I read this about a year or two ago. I forget what the poetry is about. I shall read you the back of the book. Ben Okri's novels and stories have been highly acclaimed. The most recent, The Famished Road, won the 1991 Booker Prize for fiction. His writing is characterised by a lyrical, almost musical quality, in which he displays the rhythmic touch of the poet. An African Elegy, his first collection of poetry, brings together poems which have appeared in The Times, The Guardian, Pen International, the anthology Colours of a New Day, and other publications. The title poem was read by the author at the presentation of the Booker Prize. An African Elegy is selected from almost 10 years of Ben Okri's work and draws for inspiration on his vision of Africa, as well as on the everyday material of his life. It was a couple of years ago that I read this, and I can't fully remember much about it, but I do remember that the writing is gorgeous. From memory, it's very visual. There's a lot of sadness. It's beautiful, and I don't remember it, so I'm going to read this again, and I'm going to look forward to this because I remember enjoying it the first time around. So yeah, that's an African Elegy by Ben Okri. The next one is another one that I read a few years ago, pretty much when it first came out. This was a recommendation from Hannah Tay over at Hannah Books and Beauty, and when she discussed this book on her channel, I had to have it because it sounded incredible. It's Evening Primrose by Kopano Matalwa. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. This tells the story of a young woman who is training to be a doctor, from memory. Yes, she becomes a doctor and bad things happen. And the writing is just absolutely glorious. I shall read you the back of the book because this is a good one. Maybe this was all my own doing. I should never have started that petition. I should never have stopped my medication. I should never have daydreamed about Francois, who couldn't pronounce my name properly. And I shouldn't have written all this blasphemous crap in this journal. When Masakaba finally achieves her childhood dream of becoming a doctor, her ambition is tested as she faces the stark reality of South Africa's public health care system. As she leaves her deeply religious mother and makes friends with the politically minded Nyasha, Masakaba's eyes are opened to the rising xenophobic tension that carries echoes of apartheid. Battling her inner demons, she must decide if she should make a stand to help her best friend, even if it comes at a high personal price. A powerfully insightful and timely novel from South Africa's Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Evening Primrose explores issues of race, gender, and the medical profession with tenderness and urgency. And I remember this was written in sort of short little paragraphs again. The writing was beautiful and the story was incredible. And I want to read this again because it was that good. The next one is a book that I have literally just read in the last couple of months. I read this for Simon Savage and Melanie Sykes' book club, and I adored this. This was stunning. It's Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. This tells the story of 12 women, mostly black women, and how their lives intersect with one another, how their stories lace between each other's lives, and it's beautiful. This had me crying, it had me laughing, it had me seriously thinking about things. There was a whole section on coercive control and domestic abuse, and that it stayed with me. This has stayed with me. I can't stop thinking about this book, even a couple of months after reading it. This was glorious, and it jointly won the Booker Prize in 2019 alongside Margaret Atwood's The Testaments. Why it didn't just win, I don't understand, but then I haven't read any Margaret Atwood. But yeah, I hope to remedy that soon. But yeah, this was incredible, and you won't regret this if you read it. It's beautiful. The writing is just glorious. The one thing that I struggled with to begin with at the start of reading this was the fact that there's no punctuation and there's no full stops. Only at the end of each woman's story you get one full stop. But once you get into your flow, it does just flow, and it is beautiful. So yeah, that's Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. So, just about dropped it then. That is the end of my book recommendations. Some of the books that I have read by black writers about black issues. Give it a voice. Like I said in my previous video, it's important. Racism should not be a thing in today's society. We need to stand together. We need to give it a voice. We need to speak about it. It needs to be stopped. It can't be stopped overnight, but we can darn well try. It's so important. Reading is great. Read books about black issues by black people, but don't just read. Educate yourself. It's so important. I'm going on a tangent, so I will stop. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have so much fun doing it. Whatever you're reading, I hope you love it. Stay fabulous, be amazing, be yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye bye.